Hello and welcome to the channel. President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu has opposed live broadcast at the ongoing election petition tribunal. Recall that Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party had prayed the court to grant live broadcast at the tribunal so millions of Nigerians can follow up the court proceedings, but Tinubu no agree. Him call am abuse of the honorable courts. Imagine. Waiting he get to hide. Anyways, subscribe, like, share, and comment. Thank you. It is abuse of courts. Tinubu opposes live broadcast of election petition proceedings. The president-elect Bola Tinubu has opposed the application by his closest rival Atiku Abubakar and the People's Democratic Party (PDP) for a live broadcast of the proceedings of the election petition. In response to the application, Tinubu and his vice, Kashim Shettima, through the team of their lawyers led by Chief Wole Olanikbekan, said the application is an abuse of the processes of this honorable court. They implored the Presidential Election Petition Courts to dismiss the application, arguing that the relief demanded by the applicants is not such that the court could grant it. The respondent said, "With much respect to the petitioners, the motion is an abuse of the processes of this honorable court." They further said the request of Atiku and his party should not be thrown out because the court is not a rostrum or a soapbox. It is not also a stadium or theater. It is not an arena for public entertaining. They stated in the counter affidavit that the application was linked to policy formulation of the courts, which is outside the PEPC's jurisdiction as constituted. The application also touches on the powers and jurisdiction invested in the President of the Court of Appeal by the Constitution, over which this honorable court, as presently constituted, cannot entertain. The application touches on the administrative functions, which are exclusively reserved for the President of the Court of Appeal. The application is aimed at dissipating the precious judicial time of this honorable court. The said application does not have any bearing with the petition filed by the petitioners before this honorable court. It is in the interest of justice for this honorable court to dismiss the said application filed by the petitioners, they said. In an attached written address, the respondent criticized the applicant's reference to the fact that virtual proceedings were allowed during the coronavirus pandemic. They argued that Atiku and the PDP failed to highlight the fact that practice directions were made by the respective courts for the exercise. Another angle to this very curious application is the invitation it extends to the courts to make an order that it cannot supervise. The position of the law remains, and we do submit that the court, like nature, does not make an order in vain or an order which is incapable of enforcement, the respondent stated. They further said that at the very best, this application is academic, very odious, very unnecessary, very time-wasting, most unusual and most unexpected, particularly from a set of petitioners who should be praying for the expeditious trial of their petition. Petitioners have brought the application under Section 36(3) of the Constitution, which provides that the proceedings of a court and tribunal shall be held in public. The word public, as applied under Section 36(3) of the Constitution, has been defined in a plethora of judicial authorities to mean a place where members of the public have unhindered access, and the court itself sitting behind open doors, not in the camera. Even in situations where a class action is presented, the particular people constituting the class being represented by the plaintiffs or petitioners are always defined in the originating process. Here, in this application, the public at whose behest this application has been presented is not defined, not known, not discernible. Beyond all this, it is our submission that the court of law must and should always remain what it is, what it should be, and what it is expected to be: a serene, disciplined, hallowed, tranquil, honorable, and decorous institution on place. It is not a rostrum or a soapbox. It is not a stadium or theater. It is not an arena for public entertainment. With much respect to the petitioners, the motion is an abuse of the processes of this honorable court. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and please turn the notification bell on. Thank you. In related news, the Presidential Election Petition Court on Wednesday refused to recognize any representative of the Labour Party except the first petitioner, Peter Obi, who was in court. The court, presided over by Justice Arunat Samani, reached the decision having been possibly intimated that there was a disagreement between two factions of the party before the court resumed proceedings. When the matter was called, Obi stood up to announce his appearance, followed by Dudu Manuga, the national women's leader of the party, who sat close to Obi. Meanwhile, before the court could record Manuga on the list, Lamidia Papa quickly stood up to announce his appearance as the representative of the Labour Party. However, Justice Aruna interjected and said it appears there was a little disagreement. We are not recognizing any representative from the party. Earlier on, factions of the Labour Party could be cited at the PEPC courts, engaging in a war of words over which faction is the authentic one. The Lamidia Papa-led faction of the LP was challenging why members of the party loyal to Julius Abure were in the court. They asserted that the ruling of a high court of the FCT suspending the Abure-led faction remains. The court rose on the last adjourned date for the continuation of the pre-hearing of Peter Obi's petition. The drama which could have interfered with today's proceedings appears to have been arrested with this intervention. Meanwhile, the Presidential Election Petition Court (PEPC) will resume today, Wednesday, in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, to continue the pre-hearing petition by the Labour Party presidential aspirant, Mr. Peter Obi. Obi is challenging the declaration of President-elect Ahmed Tinubu by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) as winner of the 2023 presidential election. At the last adjourned pre-hearing date, May 10, counsel to Peter Obi, Dr. Levi Uzokwo San, informed the Election Petition Court that he agreed with all counsels to the first and fourth respondents that the pre-hearing be adjourned to Wednesday 17 to allow all outstanding processes be exchanged and served for hearing. That's the news, guys. Thanks for listening. Until next time, bye.